Hello. In this video, we are going to have a look at basic lineal meters and the different tools that you have available to complete lineal meter takeoffs in Buildxact. We're going to have a quick look at what these lineal meter takeoffs are generally used for and some tips and tricks along the way to make the process easier. So I'm in my ground floor framing category here on the estimate costing screen. And in order to demonstrate how to use Buildxact to complete a linear meter takeoff, I'm going to complete one for base plate. What I'm going to do is scroll down to the bottom of the category, and I'm just going to find a timber item that I can use for my base plate through the catalog. There it is there. And what we're essentially going to do now is we're going to click on the takeoff tool next to this item. The unit of measurement is lineal meters. So as soon as I hit the takeoff tool, we're in our plans and Buildxact recognizes that we're completing a lineal meter takeoff. Now, if you've completed square meter takeoffs in the past, you'll see that the tools that we can use to complete our lineal meter takeoff are relatively similar. Um, the polygon tool, the square tool, the circular tool, and the line tool are all here measuring lineal meters, with the only real difference being that as opposed to square meter takeoffs, where you'd be measuring the area, in a lineal meter takeoff, we are effectively going to be measuring the perimeter of any marked out area, which is the case for the rectangle, the circle, and even the polygon. The line tool in this case will just measure a straight line, whereas in square meter takeoffs, we were entering in a height. With lineal meters, it's just literally measuring a line. Similarly, we've also got the ability to change our drawing color, the ability to measure linear meter takeoff with a pitch, as well as the ability to draw deductions and to turn the labels on and off. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go around and mark out wherever I need base plate, and I'm going to use two different tools to complete this. The first thing I'm going to do actually is I'm going to change the drawing color to make it a little bit more obvious as to where I'm marking things out. And I'm going to start with the polygon tool here. Now, this is going to be a lot quicker to use than the line tool because essentially I'm going to be going around the edges of the external frame and marking out precisely where the base plate's going to be installed. This is a great option to use if you know you're going to be starting and finishing in the same spot, which is essentially going to be this green dot up here. If I wasn't starting and finishing in the same spot, I would just need to use the line tool in order to measure out the relevant area. Now that I've done the external frame, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the line tool and measure out all the internal walls. As I'm going to be drawing a line at a time, I'm going to actually turn off these drawing labels because it does make it a little bit easier to see what you're doing. And I'm just going to, as quickly as possible, measure out where all of the internal frames are going. There we go. Once I've measured all the internal frames, we'll have a decent calculation as to how many linear meters of framing we require. There we go. Now, at the end of this calculation, we can see that we've got 74.39 lineal meters. I generally do go over the door openings. It's a bit of a case of personal preference there as well. If there were larger openings, I suppose perhaps I wouldn't go over those areas, but with a small opening, it's not really a big deal. So now that we've marked it all out, that will give me the lineal meter of base plate required around the frame. And when we hit accept and save, I expect this quantity of 74.39 lineal meters to load straight in against our line item. And there we go. So Generally, that's how lineal meter takeoffs in Buildxact are completed. This application can be used not just for framing, but also for things like measuring skirting, cornice, and basically anything with a set length. Before we finalize the video, I also just want to point out that as you move through the training videos that we do have, one of the relevant related videos is our recipe video on framing. So for example, we've just measured out the length of the frame for this build. If we wanted to measure all the components of a frame all at once, you could create a framing recipe whereby we've got the bottom plate, top plate, noggins, and studs all factored in, and we can essentially then complete our takeoff from the recipe to measure all of these elements at once. Now, as we've already completed the takeoff, in this case, I would just hit the calculator tool and reuse that measurement, which is here. You can see 74.390 lineal meters. So in that way, you can get a bit more of an efficient means of measuring multiple components at once. Just wanted to point that out as it is quite relevant to the example that we used. And certainly, if you are interested in learning more about recipes, please be sure to check out our framing recipe video. It's very, very useful and will speed up the process of doing takeoffs quite a bit. As always, if you have any questions, please feel free to hit the Need Help button here and certainly check out our other videos. Thank you very much.